Simple question.
Take care of the ball. that's offensively, we have to take care of the ball and change the field position for the opposition. And that's something that we haven't been doing in the past few weeks, and that's why we've been getting the results that we've been getting.
Some Gamecock players are saying today they hate Clemson as much as their fans hate Clemson. Is that kind of true on this end of the spectrum?
Not necessarily for me, but definitely through the fan base and the other players that are from South Carolina. I can feel that hatred, and I've grown, like, playing in the rivalry twice now and seeing us win one at home my freshman year. I can kind of relate to their hatred, I guess. My mom always told me to say never say hate, dislike.
It has to start picking up a little bit, don't you think, because you've lost to them twice in a row now?
Oh yeah. We want to bring the trophy and a win back home and try to bring that pride back to the Tiger fan base.
When you got here, was there kind of a process of learning what this was all about? I mean, being a North Carolina guy, did you it was kind of like a foreign to you almost?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, in North Carolina, the only rivalry you really think of is the North Carolina and Duke rivalry, and that's in basketball. And so coming down here and really hearing about the South Carolina-Clemson game all year long, I'm just like, it's really not that big of a deal. And then finally being able to play in my redshirt freshman year, it is a huge deal. And I'm really looking forward to being a part of it and bringing the trophy back home.
With the young guys you have in your team, many young guys you play, is that something you impress them this week with how much it means and the importance of this game for someone who maybe didn't understand it real well?
Oh yeah. Surprisingly, a lot of the younger guys that we have on the team are out-of-state guys, such as Sammy and Bellamy and all those, and DJ Howard and them. And so just really relaying the message to them of how important it is not only to the players that are on the team, but to the fan base and to the coaches. There's a lot of pride that go into it, and speaking from a fan point of view of what I've heard is they live with this for 365 days. Yeah. They live with it every day of the year and have to hear about it, and they're tired of hearing about it and want us to get a win.
Next year they're going to have it for 366 days.
Exactly.
So you guys...
Exactly. I forgot.
Dwayne, what do you think? Where do you think Taj's confidence is right now, and do you worry at all about that?
I can feel where it's kind of teetering. And with the outings that he's had of late, but some of the mistakes that he's making is bonehead mistakes, and he understands and knows like how to correct them, and he's making adjustments in practice to correct them. So I'm not worried about it at all.
Getting back to the whole rivalry thing, this is your third year as an active player. Do you sense that there's a little angst in you? Because let's face it, this may be your last rivalry game. You want to get a win. You don't want to go out of here and not having beaten the arch rival.
I definitely want to win on the road. I want to get out and win in Columbia and win one at home. It's like I said, I've been a part, well, really not a part, but I saw them win my true freshman year here at home, and I want to bring that pride back to the Clemson Tigers fan base.
Coach Spurrier said today that his red zone defense won him a couple games this year, and obviously looking at the last game, you guys struggled in the red zone. Could this game theoretically be won or lost in the red zone this week?
Possibly. If we can get there, they have a very talented defense, and we've been turning the ball over in the red zone and making big mistakes and mistakes before we even get to the red zone. So our focus is really getting into the red zone before we even get into any schematics of scoring while we're in the red zone.
Dwayne, of the short yardage running game troubles, does that come down to missed assignments mainly?
Yeah. A lot of missed assignments. Actually, a couple of those 31s was my fault where, personnel got switched in and out, and you get into a game and you get used to blocking the guy a certain way, and then all of a sudden the new guy's in, and that attention to detail is in there, and you don't see him, and all of a sudden the guy runs right around you. So it's just sticking to the little things and staying focused throughout the whole game.
Is that focus something y'all haven't done a good job of the past few games?
Nah, we have. We've been focused. That's not it. I'm not trying to make excuses for us at all. It's just we have to play, and we have to perform. The coaches have done a great job of getting us a winning game plan. We've just made bonehead mistakes, whether it be put the ball on the ground or put the ball up in the air. And carelessly in the air, and we got to do a better job of taking care of the ball.
Do you think it's kind of odd that you're 9-2, they're 9-2, and you're talking about, wow, we've been bumping along the past few weeks. They're kind of riding on a cloud. They've won 2 in a row. I just think that's kind of interesting. You'd think if you were both 9-2, you'd both go in here with kind of the same mindset, so to speak.
Right. I mean, as far as offensively speaking, we're confident. We know what we can do whenever we take care of the ball, and we still believe that we're one of the best in the country at what we do. And we know that we have a big task on our hand with South Carolina's defense, but we don't shy away from competition. We embrace it.
You spoke, I think, last week about not wanting to lay an egg and avoiding a lackadaisical effort. Did you see any of what happened Saturday in Raleigh coming, or was it a total surprise to you?
I didn't see any of that coming at all. The guys were focused. We had great practice. We had great meetings. We were in position to score. It was just bonehead mistakes. Heck, the sack caused forced fumble that we had backed up that gave them the ball like on the 6. If Taj don't get sacked there, he's throwing a touchdown to Newt. You know what I mean? That it's little things like that totally turns the game around. You know what I mean? It was another play where it was like a read or a give or pull read. If it would have been given, possibly a touchdown. If not, a first down. If it would have been blocked well, like on a 3rd and 1 with me, if I would have blocked the guy, it would have sustained the drive. It's just bonehead mistakes that we're making. It's never 11 guys it's never 11 guys playing their best at one time. It's always 10, 9, 8, never 11. So my thing is getting everybody on track and getting 11 guys playing Clemson football.
Dabo said you need to play better. You say you need to play better in terms of your game. But could that be as much blocking against this defense because they're so aggressive? In other words, could the best thing you do this week not just be catching the ball, but also be blocking because of what they can do?
Definitely. And that's been one of the better parts of my game, my blocking. And my consistency in blocking throughout the year. That's the best thing about the tight end position. I'm not just a receiver threat on 3rd down or in the red zone, but I add that extra dimension in blocking and helping out in max protection. So, with a couple tackles down, maybe even a guard, I might be called in to do a lot more blocking than I am usually.
You talked about some of the mistakes that you guys have been making. Is it a concern that it's been sort of like that the last month or so now?
It is a concern. It is a concern, and really just correcting it and getting back. Maybe we're over-harping on ball security. Maybe we're paying too much attention to the little details or something like that. I don't know. But hopefully we find out what it is and get it out of our system definitely before this game this weekend and hopefully before the ACC championship.
How much do you want it this weekend?
Bad, so bad for my seniors and for my fan base.
If Coach Spurrier and Coach Sweeney had a passing competition, who would win?
Coach Sweeney. Coach Sweeney can sling it. And Coach Spurrier might have a little dust in his shoulder, you know what I mean? He up there in age.
You had mentioned earlier in the conversation that they put in a different player and you didn't pay attention to detail. How do you go back and correct that, and then other players correct that during the course of the week so those
During
things don't
practice,
happen?
we play at a game tempo in practice, and it's doing the little things like that during practice that'll transfer it to the field. In practice, maybe when I get a little fatigued, just keeping my eyes up and looking at my keys will help me out.
Being a top-rated team, is that a distraction in that process at all, you think?
It can be, but I mean, not really. Coaches do a great job of really canceling out like all the outside noise and all the outside critics, good or bad. So I highly doubt that would be an issue.
What do you think when I guess you heard yesterday you were named to the Mackie Work finalists?
Oh yeah, that was an awesome accomplishment to be a finalist, and it's really been one of my goals, one of my individual goals to actually win the award. So I'm so happy that I'm in the running for that. But it's like I've said all year, my individual goals are trumped every day by my team goals. They come first, and winning a championship, this state championship this weekend, and then the AC championship is what matters most.
It's kind of funny. I think last year, going into the season, you were up for that award like one of the 50 guys. You were almost as stunned or surprised. If nothing else, though, it maybe gives you a pat on the back, if you will, that you're in the final 3, doesn't it?
Definitely. I talk about the tight end position and what the importance of the tight end in the certain offenses and stuff like that. And it just brings me joy to, realize that people is watching and they appreciate what I do and really think highly of what I do on the field.
And Brandon Ford's giving you guys another weapon these past few weeks.
Oh yeah. He's coming along, and he's getting the opportunity to play with me having to stay in and max protect. And he's another weapon that we've had all year, and I'm really happy to see him get out and catch some balls and be a difference maker on the field for us.
Isn't it ironic that Orson Charles, who came to Georgia a year after you came to Clemson, you were thinking going to Georgia, that he would also be one of those three semifinalists, for the John Mackie Award?
I guess. Yeah. No, that's pretty cool, and I'm sure that's an awesome experience for him as it is for me to be named as one of the finalists. But I want to win it. If I'm going to do something, I'm doing it 100%. And being a finalist isn't enough for me. I want to win the award.
When you're looking at other tight ends, is there a guy that you, I don't want to say, like, trying to pattern yourself after, but is there a guy you compare yourself to, or say, hey, I'm kind of like him?
I like, of course, you name a tight end in the league, I pretty much know what college he came from, what is his stats, and, general information about him. And one of my favorite tight ends is an old ACC guy, Heath Miller. He's a guy who I definitely try to pattern my game after. He blocks and receives also, and just he is what epitomizes the tight end position. Because he's not just a receiving tight end, he's not just a blocking tight end. He does it all, special teams included.
You were saying, not to belabor the point, but the personnel issue with State, were they putting a different guy at the position there that you just thought was going to be doing something else, or?
Now what it was it was 3rd and short, and they had actually just put a linebacker at end, like they were expecting us to pass. And so we went to a run, but he had rushed so fast that I wasn't really expecting that, because I was expecting the same defensive end, and he was able to make a great play. It was actually our opening drive of the second half that kind of stalled us.
Anything else for Dwayne?